Hi, continuing my final part of my series, learning about animals, thus having respect for them the more you know. We're going to talk about polar bears, briefly cover penguins, and salmon or fish. Um, so, first, let's cover the polar bears. My source is Live Sciences on this one, and Defenders of Wildlife. We know that polar bears live in climate zones and are typically white. Most don't know that their skin is actually black, and that's so they can absorb the heat rays to help stay warm, because black attracts heat. Usually that's why they say don't wear black colors in the summer or on a hot day. So they live in cold climates. They're one of the biggest carnivores on land. They are very dangerous. They can be 10 foot long. And the males between 700 and 1,200 pounds. The females 330 through about 650 pounds. They live in Arctic regions, obviously, like Canada, Russia, Alaska, Greenland, Norway, where it can reach temperatures from negative 29 to even negative 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously, the water can be very cold too, or iced over, many feet thick. They swim a lot, and they can smell prey like seals from up to a mile away. But they even eat vegetation, fish, leaves, and even reindeer. But they hunt naturally, at least, so they don't torture their prey first like we do. Unlike other bears, they don't hibernate in the winter, but they might seek shelter in a den to remain out of the elements occasionally, kind of like when the females give birth or whatever. But yeah, they don't hibernate. But actually, the giant panda bear, which is more cuddly, is a herbivore actually, and still very strong, like the gorilla. But anyways, they're threatened species and vulnerable. The numbers are on the decline, partly due to human activity. Like the Inuits who hunt them, they claim that they have the ultimate respect for them, even though they hunt them in certain quotas by doing some ritual. I don't believe in that. Rituals show any respect after something is dead or someone is dead. I don't believe that helps anything but themselves, making themselves feel good. But they are threatened due to human activity. Scientists predict in 100 years there might be enough ice melt where that might impact them due to what they call climate change, global warming, as you heard, and probably already have your own beliefs on. I cautiously trust the scientific community hypotheses and predictions based on past history and trends. The polar bear, though, is only about 2% effective in hunting. So every 100 times, only 2 times will be successful. So that's about it for them. But the segue into the penguins really briefly. Penguins actually are slick like a torpedo, can swim pretty fast. They can spend a long time underwater, obviously, as we know. And finally, just a fun fact, the salt water, they can separate the salt from the water so they can remain hydrated. So now let's talk about the salmon. But one last thing about the penguin is they are birds, but they cannot fly. No flight. Spend about 75% of their time underwater. Now, salmon. Salmon, North America, Pacific Ocean. They're called adronomous. There's many different types. They actually give birth to their spawn or lay their eggs under the sea, and by digging a little bit of sand up, and then the male fertilizes the eggs, and then they go back and cover it up. But they actually do that in lakes like the Great Lakes, or in lakes from the ocean, even though they can live in the ocean and freshwater as lakes or streams. So that's pretty interesting that they can live in both, especially depending on which type. There's ones that are silvery blue with spots on the side. You have cherry ones. And they can change their color, but whether in fresh or salt water. Now, they can eat insects, invertebrates, plankton, plants, small fish, eel, squid, shrimp, krill. There's the sockeye salmon, though, that only eats plankton, so I guess they're herbivores. Although most salmon come from fish farms nowadays, so you don't even get the omega-3 benefits, although I just eat walnuts, chia seed, flaxseed, hemp seed for my omega-3s daily without eating sea life because I'm vegan, obviously. But many come from fish farms and they don't even have those properties. There's obviously, their numbers are down due to overfishing with huge trawler nets. You can look that up, even though I talked about their breeding earlier. So that's about it. The basics on salmon. You can do some more research on these animals. I don't want to make this too long. Hope you enjoyed. Polar bears, penguins, and salmon covered briefly. Do some research, learn about other species so we can learn to respect them. Thank you.